Yo, what's poppin' everybody? This is Saber4 here to talk about emerging decks from the Cosmic Eclipse set. This is not a top best deck list. I'm just going to talk about strategies that are going to be available once the new set comes out. Maybe some of these decks are going to be great, maybe some of them won't do anything. And some of these strategies are going to be better and expanded. I'll make sure to mention that. So, first and foremost, we have Vileplume GX paired up with the Ultra Prism Cherrim. So, the way you're going to get all of these grass Pokemon out quickly, you want to use Rowlet and Alolan Exeggutor GX. With Super Growth, you can get your Stage 2s and Stage 1 grass Pokemon out really quickly. And with any luck, if you do that, you have a decent deck going for you. Vileplume GX with Fragrant Flower Garden, you can heal 30 damage from each of your Pokemon every turn. So if you manage to get a bunch of these out, you can heal a lot of damage from all of your Pokemon. You combine this with some great potions, mixed herbs, and the Prism Stadium that heals damage to grass Pokemon. And not only are your Pokemon going to remain healthy throughout most of the game, you can use Massive Bloom and do a lot of damage, 180 for just 2 energy. So this deck, I think, is pretty good. You need a bunch of pieces to make it work, but if you can remove your fire weakness, I think it has a lot of potential. Once again, you're going to use the Cherrim here from Ultra Prism. This is a stage 1. It removes your weakness to all of your grass Pokemon. So this might be a method to try and fight the fire decks. Otherwise, they're going to get a one-hit KO on you. But decent little deck. I think it does have potential if things go right. You not only have a lot of healing, you do a lot of damage. So the first deck, Vileplume GX with Cherrim, could be a solid choice in the standard format. Next up, we'll go in straight to Fire, and this is a very broken Pokemon in my opinion. This one is probably going to be good no matter what. Braixen and Charizard GX. This Pokemon, thanks to its attack Brilliant Flare, can essentially work how the Green's Exploration, Reshiram, and Charizard decks work. Only this is better because you can add the free cards from your deck with your attack. So for 4 energies, you do 180, and you can search 3 cards and put them into your hand. So once again, with this, what you can do is grab the mixed herbs, grab the great potions, and this kind of functions like those Reshiram, Charizard GX tank decks, sort of controlling the game with only 1 or 2 Pokemon and a lot of different items and supporters. You can kind of do something like that with Charizard and Braixen. With Crimson Flare Pillar GX, you can also use your GX attack to instantly power up this Pokemon. You don't even have to use Welder. It's just both of the attacks are really good. I think a Fire Pokemon, it gets all of the support that the Fire type has. What more can you say? Now you can try this Pokemon with Reshiram and Charizard GX. You can pair it up with Volcarona, which we're going to talk about soon. You can do many different things, but the fact that you can grab 3 cards from your deck every time you attack, and you do a respectable 180 damage, I feel like this deck is pretty obvious, you know? Just use this Pokemon, a bunch of good trainers, a bunch of other fire support cards, and you got a deck. Next up, Volcarona GX with Reshiram and Charizard GX. You can use Volcarona GX with Braixen and Charizard too, but I feel like this Pokemon benefits a lot more from a Pokemon like Reshiram and Charizard GX. Man, so many Charizards anyway. Because Reshiram does very high damage, and it comes close to getting one-hit knockouts on Tag Team GXs, but it just misses those few damage counters. With Volcarona GX, what you can do is discard energies, put those few damage counters that you need over there, and then set up for KOs. You discard a fire, and then you can put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. Since it's fire energies, obviously you can make use of the fire crystals, you can make use of the Hearth Stadium, get those fire energies in hand. You have an additional attack or 2 if you want to. Massive Heat Wave GX is a good GX attack. There's just nothing wrong with this Pokemon, to be honest. It just works perfectly with Reshiram and Charizard GX. And you have another variation of that fire deck that focuses on getting one-hit knockouts more consistently. So Volcarona with Reshiram and Charizard GX, I think it's an obvious combo. I think this deck is going to be really good. and it's another deck. Hopefully, I managed to show you guys if we get a few of these Fire Sun bugs. Alright, moving on, a deck that is going to be able to maybe destroy the fire decks. You got this Wishy-Washy GX. This Pokemon looks really bad, but if you combine it with the Wishy-Washy from Dragon Majesty, then you got a Pokemon that has some decent HP and that can do a lot of damage. So if you fill your bench with Wishy-Washis and Wishy-Washy GXs, this dude can do 120 for 2. If 4 of those are the Wishy-Washis from Dragon Majesty, then you do 200 damage for 2 energies, which is strong. And because you're water, you're going to be able to knock out the big Fire GX Pokemon easily. So this is pretty good. Massive Catch GX, I don't like it as a GX attack, but I guess you can use it to try and fetch your basic Pokemon quickly. The only downside of this Pokemon is that obviously you rely on those little Wishy-Washis from Dragon Majesty. Otherwise, on its own, this Pokemon sucks. The other thing is that you fill your bench with a Pokemon that has only 30 HP. You're very susceptible to spread. You're very susceptible to other strategies. And since you're going to fill your bench with those Wishy-Washis, you don't have space for any other support Pokemon. So I feel like this deck, there's just more going against it than going for it. But, I mean, I guess you can hit fire Pokemon for weakness. Volcarona is going to be able to snipe those little Wishy-Washis, though. So I feel like even against fire, it'll end up failing. But it's another deck you can try out. Wishy-Washy GX with the Wishy-Washis from Dragon Majesty. Right. We have another water deck here that's going to be an anti-meta Pokemon. The Empoleon here, regular stage 2. I talked about this. Well, I talked about most of these cards in my best card set review. This Pokemon is good with Recall. You can do a snipe for 1 energy. You can do an immunity attack. If you copy Piplup's attack, you can prevent basic Pokemon from attacking. So it's got a lot of these anti-meta qualities to it. The question is, will it be enough to be successful in this meta game? You can try it out. It's a regular stage 2. It's going to be a little bit slow, but at least it doesn't give 2 prizes, so it doesn't have as much risk, perhaps. It's a decent little Pokemon. You can combine it with a bunch of water cards that are still around. So, who knows? Maybe it's a decent deck for those of you that want to try out something that isn't GX, just a regular stage 2. We have another anti-meta Pokemon that is a GX. This one is Alolan Persian. This Pokemon, since it's dark, obviously you can use it in a deck like Dark Box. You can use it with a bunch of other anti-meta Pokemon, and you basically have a wall, Smug Face, prevent all effects of attacks, including damage from Tag Team Pokemon, Ultra Beast, and Pokemon that have special energies. So it covers a lot of ground. The only downside is that since there's an ability, Power Plant can shut it down. The new Mimikyu that's going to come out from this set will be able to shut this down. So there is some risk, and it also doesn't do very high damage with Claw Slash and Stalking Claws. It's not the hardest hitter, but it is an anti-meta Pokemon. For those that want to build anti-meta decks, this might be your card. You can try and use this dude. Fighting Pokemon aren't seen that much, I suppose, so the weakness doesn't really matter. Psychic Resistance, I guess it's good against Mewtwo GX. Could be effective against it, but I feel like Mewtwo GX is still going to be on top, no matter what. But Alolan Persian GX, another good little deck you can try and build, focusing on this Pokemon. Next up, we got a deck that I'm not impressed, but I guess you can try and build it if you want to. This Lunala Solgaleo Stage 2 deck. So these guys, they come from the same set. Obviously, they work together, and they're a deck, I suppose, but you probably won't go far if you use it. So you need both of these out to make use of their abilities. If you get Lunala out while there's Solgaleo, you can attach energies from your deck, try and power up these Pokemon. Solgaleo, if Lunala is out, you block 50 damage from your opponent's attacks. So, strong. Soul Fangs does 180. It's not enough to get one-hit knockouts, So I don't feel like this Pokemon is that great, but you can try it out. You know, it's an obvious deck, emerging deck from Cosmic Eclipse. I mean, you don't take advantage of weakness much, since Lunala isn't the real attacker. So Galio here, but you know you can try it out. It's two stage twos, so it's going to be really slow. But perhaps since there's a lot of new draw Pokemon and consistency cards here in this set, maybe you can have a little bit more success. Moving on. Next up, we got another Pokemon that might not be too great, but maybe it can do something, and that is Flygon GX paired up with the Zygarde. So the Zygardes from Unified Minds, you get a bunch of these out. It can do some solid damage for just one energy, and you can grab fighting energies from your disc pile and attach them to your Pokemon. So you use the Zygarde, do a little bit of damage, and start slowly power up a Pokemon like Flygon. And once this guy is out in the active position, you block 30 damage, so he's probably going to be able to take a hit. And with Desert Hurricane, if there's a stadium card in play, you can do 240 for 3, so that's respectable. If you do a little bit of softening up with Zygarde, you have your Diancie down too. This dude is probably going to be able to get some big knockouts, so it's solid. It's going to be difficult to power up, but maybe with Zygarde, you have a deck. Flygon GX Zygarde. It could be a deck too. You can try out. Next up, we got the the big guys. It's gonna be the Arceus, Dialga, and Palkia GX. So this Pokemon, I feel like it's probably gonna do a lot more in Expanded because there's double Dragon Energy. But the card you can use, I guess, to power him up is N's Resolve. Discard the top 6 cards of your decks. If your deck, if any of those are basic energies, attach them to one of your Dragon bench Pokemon. So that's one method. You can also use the Drampa from Dragon Majesty. That's another Pokemon. Of course, there's Latias Prism. That card is still around. Don't forget. So you have some options to power him up, but it's just a lot better to just slap a double Dragon Energy and then pretty much be almost ready. This dude is strong though once you have the energies on him. You do 150 and then you can grab basic energies from your deck, attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. So it's the Pikachu and Zekrom attack. What's even more broken is this GX attack, Altered Creation. Once you use this attack, all of your attacks essentially do 30 more damage. And if you have one extra water energy attached to it, you get one more prize card every time you knock out a Pokemon. So it's a mind-blowingly broken GX attack, you know, continuously doing extra damage and even getting an extra prize if you have that water energy on. It's just too damn good, man. It's just too damn good. So maybe people are going to use it just for the GX attack and it won't be its own deck, but you can definitely make it as its own deck too. You can use Altaria from Dragon Majesty to boost your damage. If you got that, you got your Altered Creation GX to boost damage and grabbing energies while you attack. I mean, you pretty much have a deck right here. Nothing wrong with that. So Arceus and Dialga Palkia, it might be good in Standard, but I feel like it's going to be better in Expanded because of double Dragon Energy. Now another Pokemon that's probably going to be better in Expanded is this Alolan Ninetales with Rubbish Blizzard. Weird name, but this is a costless attack, so you can do it essentially for free. So it pretty much has such obvious synergy with the Rotoms in Expanded too, that want Pokemon tools in the discard pile to attack. This Pokemon is very similar. It does 10 damage times the Pokemon tools in your discard pile. So if you have a lot of those over there, which the Rotom deck can put, then you can do high damage for no energy. So this isn't an ability, which makes it good with the Rotom deck, meaning that if your opponent brings out Alolan Muck or Garbodor with Garbotoxin, you still have a shot if you use Alolan Ninetales. I feel like it belongs in those decks, or even as its own deck, but it's probably better in Expanded because there's Battle Compressor, there's Shamans, there's a lot of other cards that help speed up this sort of a deck, but you can try to use it in Standard too, I suppose. We do have some discarding outlets in this set too. So A little Ninetales, probably going to be more of a expanded deck, but you can also try it out in standard. And then the last two decks that I feel like are going to be really good is this Reshiram and Zekrom GX. So for me, my take on this deck would be to just use it in expanded, combine it with either Embor with Inferno Fandango or the Eels, the Dynamotor Electrics, and then you got a deck gets one hit knockouts, but you can use End's Resolve in standard and try and attempt the same thing. Since this is a dragon Pokemon, the same methods that I mentioned for Arceus Dialga Palkia still apply. Latias Prism, the Drampa from Dragon Majesty, End's Resolve, all that good stuff. Try and build up the energies on it, and then you discard either 3 Fire, 3 Lightning, get a big one-hit knockout on Attack Team GX. You can do 270 damage if you discard 3 energies, so that's enough to get those KOs. Its Cross Break GX attack is also very powerful. Essentially a snipe, 170 for 4. And if you have like extra energies, how many do you need? Oh no, if you played End's Resolve actually this turn, you do 170 to 2 Pokemon, so it's pretty damn powerful. So this Pokemon definitely has a lot of potential. It might be difficult to continuously power up, especially if you don't use this in expanded with a Pokemon like Embor or the Eels, but it definitely screams out for a potential strong deck. Perhaps with the other cards we have in standard, you might be able to do something with it. So Reshiram, Zekrom, perhaps with Latias and Drampa, you have a deck, but definitely an expanded. With Embor and Electric, you definitely have a deck over there. And then the last Pokemon, it's going to be this damn Nakanadel Guzzlord Tag Team GX. This Pokemon is going to be insanely strong in my opinion in standard and expanded. With Violent Appetite, once during your turn you can discard a Pokemon and heal 60 damage from this Pokemon. So this dude is basically self-sufficient when it comes to healing. Like, he doesn't even... Obviously, he just becomes stronger with Great Potion, Mixed Herbs, all that stuff. But when you have a self-healing ability too, then it's just even worse. Now in Expanded, this is even crazier because you can just continuously grab the Propagation Execute and just heal this guy for free every turn. Absolutely insane. Another reason why that card should be banned. Anyway, this is going to turn into a Executor ban rant, but anyway, very strong ability, and its attacks are very broken too. 180 for 3, no bad drawback. It's really good. Since it requires a Psychic and then another colorless, you can use this with Malamar too. Great. In Expanded, once again, double Dragon Energy. You're ready to go. And then you got Chaotic Order. You turn all of your prize cards face up, but if you have an additional Psychic and Dark Energy, you can grab 2 prizes for 3. It's insanely broken. So basically for 3 energies, you just get 2 prizes. Broken. So I feel like this Pokemon is going to be really good. Perhaps you can use this with Nakanadel, the Stage 1 Nakanadel deck. Obviously you can use this with Malamars. Obviously you can use this with a bunch of other Pokemon. Is an Ultra Beast. It has a lot of support. It can do a lot of damage. It's insanely good. So I feel like this Pokemon is definitely going to make for a very strong deck in Standard and in Expanded. So these are some of the emergent decks you can try out, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Share this video with your friends. With any luck, once the set comes out and I get packs online, hopefully I can build up some of these decks and show them to you guys. So, Sabre 4, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see.